Hi guys, it's Zion here and
Vicky.
And we're doing one of the Ask Us Anything things that we've not done for a little while now because we're lazy. We've asked you to ask us anything and that's what you've done. So we will now answer it and I'll try and keep my eyes on the road so I don't crash and stuff.
Your brother wants to know if anything embarrassing has ever happened to you.
I'm not someone that gets embarrassed easy. The one thing that I do remember was when I was about 13 or 14 years old, and I used to walk to school with a boy called Gary Richards, and I'd go to his house and I'd have tea around there, and was quite friendly with his mum. Not in that way, that's not the embarrassing story that I'm about to tell, that he caught me bumming his mum or anything like that. But the embarrassing bit...
Bumming his mum.
Bumming his mum. But the embarrassing bit is that one day I was quite happy down at the Southgate playing fields paddling pool where there was a big metal thing and I was very happily drawing a great big knob on it because that's what you do when you see a great big metal thing and you're 12, 13 years old. And I just finished and I stood back to admire my handiwork and I saw his mum was out walking the dog, and that was pretty embarrassing. There's no further punchline to that, I'm afraid, because it was just never ever mentioned. You're talking to a man I was a boy. You're talking to a chap who used to go in the middle of Queen Square in Crawley on the bandstand and very loudly pretend to give birth to a baby. So not a lot of stuff embarrasses me.
I can't think of any time when I was really embarrassed. Do you think of a time when I was really embarrassed? I don't hang around with you too much. I've just water off a duck's back now. Just you doing stuff and making a fuss, and so I just get used to it. I just pretend that I'm carrying a chameleon or something.
I was a little bit embarrassed about half an hour ago because we got randomly selected at Tesco's to have our trolley checked to make sure we hadn't nicked anything.
And every time they came over and they were apologising, I'm sorry, it's completely random. I don't know why it's doing it. I'm going, it's because he looks dodgy, isn't it? That's why. It's racial profiling, isn't it? It's because he looks dodgy, and they were getting really embarrassed and denying it.
We had to sit in chairs in a little special bit but in front of everyone whilst they went through our trolley to make sure we hadn't nicked anything. And I found that a bit embarrassing. I just don't want people to go by and see me and go into the stereotype of, oh, he looks different, therefore he is dodgy.
Luckily you weren't stealing stuff today.
Yeah. Otherwise it would have been really embarrassing if I'd have actually got caught.
Nick, was there anything you wanted to do other than music when you were young? And Vicky, why did you pick bass? I picked bass for the simple reason that when I was 12, when I first started, I knew loads of people who play guitar. Loads of people play guitar, a few people who play drums, loads of people who sang, and one other person who played bass. So I thought, well, there's obviously a shortage of bass players, so that's why bass. Was there anything else I wanted to do? I think I'm doing everything I wanted to do. I wanted to play bass guitar and be in a band, and I've done that. I wanted to live in the middle of nowhere with my soulmate. I wanted to have horses and mess around with horses, and doing that.
For me, up until about the age of 14, I wanted to be a cartoonist. I used to draw lots and lots of things. Oh, I just thought of another very embarrassing thing. This is to do with cartooning. I was 12 years old. It was in Mr. Greater X's registration in the morning at school, and I had drawn a picture, a cartoon, of him and his wife having sex. It was a new position that me and my friend Stephen Sugg invented called a benko, which in our adolescent brains was, you stick your willy up the bum, you stick your finger up the front, and you tickle the end of your willy. Yeah, I know, it's not going to happen. But anyway, I drew this in graphic detail, and Mr. Greater X found the picture. So yeah, that was embarrassing. And that's also what I wanted to do, draw graphic pictures of teachers in sexual positions with their wives.
Might be a bestseller.
Yeah, or be a cartoonist. but I didn't achieve either of those things.
Sharon Kirby, hi Shazza, says, if you could come back in another life, what would you guys come back as?
I would come back as a cat.
Cat?
Yeah.
Why, so you could be picked up by the RSPCA and put to sleep?
Okay, I'd come back as an awesome cat. One of the ones that basically gets to do fuck all day long, apart from get waited on. And you get to leap around, you're like a little superhero. You're a little furry superhero, basically. You're a little furry superhero that gets waited on hand and foot.
Gets the shit in a box.
Yeah. So that's my answer. What's yours?
That'd be nice to come back as a stinking rich person who doesn't have to worry about anything. You could like do good things to the world.
It's my assertion that stinking rich people have concerns and worries as well. I watched something the other day actually that was interesting. It was about this couple where the bloke was about 70, she was about 45, not a trophy wife at all, and he was extremely rich because he had the biggest timeshare operation in America. They were building their version of Versailles in America, and it was massive. It was going to be the biggest house in America. Then the credit crunch thing happened, and this program basically, obviously when it started, it was just about, look at these fucking rich people building this big house. But then you saw them trying to save that house and their company and the house that they lived in, and the banks who had been so keen to just throw money at them all of a sudden were withdrawing that offer. And I just thought, well, okay, we can all resent people because they've got lots of money, but they worked hard to get that money. They didn't steal it, they didn't do anything dodgy to get the money. So, you know, kudos for them for getting the money. And now they've got the concerns because once you reach a level in life, you don't want to go backwards. And that's the same with everyone. So I think that you still have worries, they're just different.
Roger Kirby, he wants to know, if you could be a fly on the wall in any historical moment or celebrity scandal, who, where and why?
I think I would want to be a fly on the wall.
You're talking about Hitler, isn't it?
Yeah, because I would want to know, it would be with Hitler.
But the moment where he decided to just be, like, abandoned.
I'm fascinated to know how much of everything that happened with the Nazis was pre-planned. It would be a fascinating thing to sit there and listen to him go on. The only thing is, I'd have to learn German first. I don't think that flies are clever enough to learn 2 languages.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know one.
But that would be my answer anyway, to buzz around Hitler and find out what's what. Report back to everyone and say he was just grumpy because they wouldn't let him be an artist.
It'd be cool to go to like see what happened with the whole like Jesus thing and find out the truth about that. So I can go, holy fuck, it's all true. Or no, someone was just sitting around like having a write a story and people took it completely out of context. I'd like to know about that. Simon Lama Taylor, hi Simon, says, what's that over there?
Over where?
Over there.
Over where?
Shut up.
Is it a monster?
Here. Billy Rowan wants to know when we are playing in the USA.
When you buy us a ticket and book us a gig.
Emma Thompson says, I want to know who's responsible for each mundane chore around the house. Who does the washing? Who cleans the loos? I want to know who undertakes every household task. So what do you do around the house, see?
I do the clothes washing. When I was 14 years old, my mum started to get me to wash my own clothes. She was lazy, she couldn't be fucked. That's not true. It was just to give me some responsibility around the house. I'm just used to washing the clothes because it's not difficult. You shove it in the washing machine and you wheel on it a bit and then you press the button and it all gets clean. We both kind of wash up, we don't leave it lying around. A lot of things are kind of just taken in turn, well not taken in turn, just we both do them. Vicky's in charge of the cat toilets because she likes the taste of cat poo.
I bring in the coal, I sort out the fires. I don't know when you last used the Hoover.
I last used it when Sophie and Jeff were coming over.
So did I. I feed the animals and take care of all their needs. I feed the ducks, change the duck ponds, water out, get the eggs.
Well, hopefully we've answered that question. We just had to pull over and change the battery because the battery on that one ran out. So, and we forgot where we were. But we think we've probably answered the question. It's fairly equal.
How many times have you done the fire?
How many times have you washed the car?
Ricky Slick says, do you ever plan on coming out of retirement, SLT?
Retirement?
SLT. Or possibly doing something completely different? Even Mick Mars is in the studio of John Corabi. You gonna go in the studio of John Corabi? I have no plans to go to the studio with John Crowley or Mick Mars.
We're not retired, we're just not doing that at the moment. Whether we ever will again remains to be seen. There's no immediate plans. It's a never say never situation. Life's very short and you don't need to stick doing the same thing for all of it. There's other things that we want to do in life, so we're just exploring them at the moment, really.
Emma Claire Gadd says, how does the Lord Z get his eyeliner so perfect?
Years of practice. I've been wearing it since I was about 16, and seeing as I'm now in my mid-20s, that's an awful lot of time.
I nearly threw something at you, but I remember driving.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of time to get it right. It's not always perfect. At the moment, I'm sure it's not. Is it perfect?
Don't know, not see. Max Easy says, hey Max, who do you admire and why? Is there anyone I've ever said I specifically admire that person? Do you think? No, not you. Although I have said that, but let's not discuss that. I just said I admire Sophie for, setting up a shop and doing her own thing. I guess anyone who sort of strikes out on their own against the odds, or stands up for something, stands up for what they believe in. Yeah, so anyone who goes out and they take the harder path, they try to do something that is different or just difficult. And because everyone's like, take the easy path, do this, get a boring job, that kind of makes it safe because it's easier. Or like turn a blind eye when you see something bad happening because it's easier, because it's safer. So anyone who does something which is harder, which they know is not going to make their life easier, but they're willing to put in the effort to do the right thing or achieve something that they really want to achieve, then I admire those people.
In the public eye, I think the person, or one of the people that I admire the most is Howard Stern. Howard Stern and Ricky Gervais, actually, they're two people that I really admire because they have been true to themselves, stuck to their guns, and done things the way that they think it should be done. Whether that's right or wrong is completely irrelevant. It's that they've done things the way they think that it should be done. In my life, I admire my granddad, who was born in the East End of London and was extremely poor and built up a company which turned over millions and gave them a very comfortable, him and my nan, very comfortable lifestyle, and in turn has supported other people in the family. My dad, because he came along when I was 6 years old and essentially adopted me, and he was only a young man himself at the time, he was only 23, and I was a pain in the arse, as you can probably imagine. I also very much admire my brother, who has left the security of a regular paycheck, a well-paid job, to start his own business and go out on his own. So whether or not he succeeds and fails at it, and I think that he'll succeed at it, but whether or not he succeeds and fails at it, at least he's giving it a go. And a lot of people don't have the guts to do that.
Where was I?
Where were you?
Yeah.
I admire you for putting up with me for 16 years. Yeah.
I admire me for that. Roger Brompton wants to know, how is it Aquaman can control whales when they're mammals and not fish? Aquaman, so it implies like water. It doesn't say fishman. If it was fishman, then that would make no sense. If it's Aquaman, then it's anything in the water, and whales, generally speaking, are found in water. So that's why.
What she said.
What she said. This is from Andy Matthews. The girth of an egg. Explain why this is important. I know, but do you?
If it's too big, then it would be uncomfortable when you insert it up your bottom.
Is that why it's important to Andy Matthews?
Probably.
Is that why it's important to you, Andy? Punch Gaza says, I like this one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
A horse-sized duck.
You'd rather fight a horse-sized duck?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think it'd be funnier.
I think it'd be funnier.
Ducks are funny, horses aren't funny.
I've been thinking about this, and firstly, I wouldn't fight them because that's not in my nature. I would befriend them. One horse-sized duck would be easier to befriend than 100 duck-sized horses. But saying that, I know horses better than I know ducks, so. But then also, if you had a friend that was a horse-sized duck, you could fly on it. Now, how awesome would that be? But then on the downside, if you only had one, it might be lonely. But do horse-sized ducks make friends with normal-sized ducks? Because if they did, then it'd be fine. It would have friends. But I would go for the one horse-sized duck just because how cool to have a horse-sized duck that you could fly around on. Brenda Huggins says, how many hands is Kato? That's one for you, Z.
16.
Oh my god, he got it!
I'm 13.
You're 13. Yeah, you are.
13 hands high.
13 hands high.
Am I?
No. That's all the questions.
That's it. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for asking the questions. If you have other questions for us for a future Ask Us Anything, I should have a little theme tune, shouldn't it?
Do you want me to write a theme tune?
Yeah, you write a theme tune. Write it below in the comments section. Write anything below in the comments section, as long as it's not nasty, because we just will not tolerate trolls. Give the video a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe. I'm fed up with asking that, but I know that you have to ask in every fucking video.
Makes Rambo happy.
Yes, every time you click a button, Rambo has an orgasm. We will see you again next time.
Bye.
We've just gone past the car doing that, and the car's going, oi!